everyone, so I know you won't have seen me for a little while because I've had a very busy summer. I've actually emigrated over to Cyprus, which I can tell you is a really exciting experience but also flipping hard work. Now, right about now, if you have got a youngster who has gone off to uni, it's very likely that you're going to be hearing from them and learning how they're getting on. And having had this at first-hand experience, because both of mine went off at the same time, I do know how this feels. So I've got a few tips for you and also a couple of tips for them, just in case they're struggling a bit. So number one, please, I'd really like to say to you is try and accept something. They haven't left you and they haven't left home. But what they have done, if you can see it like this, is they've gone to live somewhere else for a while and then they come back. You see, I think it was terribly important for me to recognise there is no substitute for home and there is no substitute for the role that you as their parents and me as the single parent at the time can play for them. So they always come back and they love us and nothing has changed fundamentally. But I think the second point I want to make is try not to wander aimlessly around the house or go and sit in their bedroom and grieve and feel their loss, because I think that's actually a recipe for compounding the feeling and making it worse for yourself. And whilst I've got incredible empathy for what it does feel like, I didn't cope all that well the first few days either. But in fact, I began to pull it together once I realised my kids still needed me. I still had a role to play. It's just that role shifts from being perhaps parent immediately, but to, confidant and advisor and helper and this kind of thing. And so really they still kept coming back. They were just doing it this way or on video call. They were still asking for help. So I think what you also want to recognise is this is the next chapter of their lives and you've actually helped to get them there. So it's so nice for them and it's so great. So one other tip for you is, rather than, again, feeling their loss, ask them to send you a few of their happy photos, so wherever they go and whatever they do, and stick those on your fridge so that you can see actual physical proof of all these lovely things they're now doing. Now, that also then brings me to, I would not try to go and visit them too frequently in the first few weeks because I think it's actually more disruptive. But the caveat to that would be unless they're very distressed. So that brings me to what happened with my two and suggestions for your kids. Now, my daughter adjusted faster than my son, but she missed the fact that she didn't have a very close friend. So what we did with her was make a suggestion that she look for the same kind of hobbies and things that she'd always loved. So in her case, she looked for a dance group because she'd always done that particularly well when she was going right through teenage years. She'd started when she was something like 8. So it was fantastic because from the moment she started going to dance, she met Kirsten and then she's never looked back. The two of them then headed off to Australia as grown-up kids, and Gina is now 27 years old and is, as we speak, I think in East Java. So my son also went through a tricky phase. He didn't enjoy it in the first couple of weeks, and I made a decision, having spoken to him, that I think leaving him alone would only distress him further. So I offered him the possibility of coming home that first weekend, which he did by train, but on the basis that we were going to talk constructively and have a plan. And so when he went back, he started to put lots of structure into his day. Time to go to the gym, which was one of his favourite hobbies. Again, we put back in place all the things he'd been doing when he was at home, because that's how they reconnect with what they really enjoy. And this helped a great deal. And the thing that did it for him was he took up rugby. So the beauty of going to a rugby team was that he'd now got friends very fast. He'd got somewhere to go, great fun to be had, kids to drink with, you get the vibe. And it really worked. So look, it's not the end of the world, but it does hurt. Have a little bit of time to yourself and allow it just to settle down for yourself and adjust. But the good news is it does get easier. All right, everyone, take care. Bye for now.